Hello and welcome to The Frame, an initiative of Access Framingham. I'm Brendan Fitzpatrick, coming to you from the Framingham Farmers Market this week. We're happy to be here. We begin tonight with Tuesday night's City Council meeting as officials met with School Superintendent Dr. Tremblay to continue the discussion on school safety and violence. Members of the public have expressed concerns related to incidents such as fights on school buses and within school buildings. Michael Cannon, District 4's city councilor, invoked the Home Rule Charter last month to require that the superintendent speak before the council on the matter. School Committee Chair Jessica Barnhill also took part in Tuesday's discussion. Tremblay told councilors at the Memorial Building that while Framingham Public Schools does try to hold restorative talks with students who misbehave, consequences are still upheld within the district, adding that Framingham suspends students at a much higher rate than any other urban municipality in the state.
Well, people look at the Code of Character, Conduct, and Support, we call the code, as this sort of soft, kids don't need discipline, they need a hug mindset. I think both are true, frankly. I think kids need hugs, and they also need concrete consequences for actions.
Tremblay called for increased collaboration between all parties, including parents, in providing discipline for students who break that code. Cannon, meanwhile, expressed disappointment that Tremblay had not kept counselors in the loop about safety at all levels of the school system more consistently.
The more we peel back the layers, the worse it seems to get. It almost feels like, disguised as empowering leadership in the building to handle an issue, issues that should be reported to the school committee, to you, to the community, and certainly to us, are almost brushed under the rug.
Student privacy rights, as Tremblay explained, still have to be considered when sharing these updates. Barnhill urged members of the City Council to contact their school committee colleagues whenever they hear about school-related trouble from a constituent. Another joint meeting between the City Council and the school committee could potentially be held in August or September. The City Council's Planning and Zoning Subcommittee met on Monday, July 15th to continue discussions regarding the MBTA Communities Act. Officials in Framingham are working to ensure that the city is in line with the state law by the end of the year. The MBTA Communities Act mandates that any municipality with T service must provide at least one district of zoning as of right for multifamily housing. If Framingham falls out of line with the act, the city could be at risk of losing state funding for a variety of projects and programs, though officials have expressed confidence that Framingham will keep up to date with the legislation. Planning Board Chair Christina Johnson told city councilors that potential solutions are being drafted, with September being a target goal to present a plan for the full council to consider. Many of those drafts have zeroed in on the Waverly Street corridor by the commuter rail station. However, during Monday's meeting, Planning and Community Development Director for Framingham, Sarkis Sarkeesian, reiterated the possibilities of utilizing the Shoppers World and 990 areas while creating a solution to this question. He added that future plans could split up to an extent where the zoning is provided as of right.
The purpose of this is to take some of the pressure off the downtown and to do it in a smart analysis, utilizing the other form of public transportation being Massport.
A member of the Shoppers World ownership group, Urban Edge Properties, which acquired the site last fall, said they're planning to develop the area with the hope of utilizing mixed-use areas. After the Framingham City Council and Natick Select Board voted to merge their 911 dispatch operations, the project to build a regional dispatch center, which is set to be located in downtown Framingham, has been boosted by a nearly $4.5 million grant from the state level. Mayor Charlie Sisitsky advocated for the merger to create the Middlesex Regional Emergency Communications Center District, explaining that the goal is to efficiently streamline regional first responder dispatching. Sisitsky expressed his gratitude for the grant and noted how big of a priority it has been to get a new dispatch center for Framingham, adding that there has not been enough room for the two existing dispatch centers in the police and fire headquarters to function efficiently. Framingham and Natick will split the costs of maintaining the regional facility, which city officials are hoping will become operational in 2026. Other participating communities in the surrounding area may join the dispatch district during the 25-year plan that was approved by both Framingham and Natick. Last week on the show, we mentioned that Waushakum Beach has been reopened for swimming to the public following its closure due to E. coli. However, Waushakum has now been closed again due to almost double the allowed levels of cyanobacteria being present in the water, according to an announcement from the city on Wednesday, July 17th. Residents are not advised to swim at the site or let their pets enter the water, as it could cause a variety of reactions. Contact with the water can cause skin and eye irritation, while ingesting the water can cause illness, liver damage, and potentially even more severe complications in humans as well as in animals. As of the time of this recording, Learned Pond and Saxonville Beach are both still safe to use, but the city does have its beach alert system to advise of any potential closures in the future. Alerts on all 3 of the local beaches are provided through that service, which can be found on the Notify Me section of the city's website, framinghamma.gov/notify-me. Mayor Sisitsky's series of community meetings across Framingham will continue on Tuesday, July 23rd. One of his goals in 2024 has been to hold these sessions in all of the city's districts. Now he'll be speaking with residents of District 7. Those who live in the area are invited to Learned Pond Beach from 7 to 8 p.m. that night to provide their opinions on local matters, ask questions, and discuss issues that relate to the District 7 area. District 7's City Councilor Leora Malik and School Committee member Tiffany Maskell have both been invited to take part in the meeting, along with members of different municipal departments. Attendees are advised to bring a beach chair or blanket to Learned if the weather holds up. The rain location will be the Framingham Public Library along Lexington Street. The summer rolls along here in Framingham, and you can stay in the loop with what's happening locally by logging onto the latest source for local information, www.theframe.news. More details on stories covered here on the program, along with additional feature pieces we've recently completed, can all be found there. Tell your neighbors about it and be sure to subscribe to our weekly email newsletter to ensure that you never miss a beat with us. Also, as a local news initiative, we're always open to hear any ideas on stories that you might have. Whether it's an update on a municipal matter, a person or group you'd like to see highlighted, or anything else that has to do with Framingham, we'd be happy to hear from you. You can either send an email to The Frame at accessfram.tv, or you can leave a voicemail by calling 508-216-0003. Now, we here at The Frame have been working to ensure that our news initiative is accessible to the audience that we cater to. So starting next week, you might notice a few changes to our coverage. A weekly video and audio podcast will be shared on Thursdays to round up Framingham's top stories. That podcast will be shared on major audio platforms as well as YouTube, along with the traditional Access Framingham cable channel. Our weekly focus segment will not be going anywhere. It will be shared online and on TV each week. Also, we'll be sharing more stories on our social media accounts, so stay tuned for all of those changes that aim to make Framingham News in Focus even more accessible. Up next on The Frame, a feature piece on the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation for Autism and their 2nd annual music festival, Stars of the Spectrum. We spoke to some local artists who will be performing during the event on August 3rd and learned more about what drives them to the stage. You won't want to miss it. Stick around. We'll be back after this.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back, as it's time now for our weekly focus. Now, a lot of Boston College or New England Patriots fans are probably familiar with Doug Flutie, who won the Heisman Trophy for the Eagles back in 1984 and later spent multiple seasons as a quarterback in Foxborough. But you don't have to be a football fanatic to appreciate the positive impact that the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation for Autism has had on both our local area and across the nation. The Flutie Foundation was established back in 1998 by Doug and Laura Flutie in honor of their son, Dougie Jr., who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3. Since then, the foundation has been supporting those with autism and their families by helping them lead productive lives where they feel included, respected, and actively engaged in their communities. An example of that outreach includes the Flutie Foundation's 2nd annual music festival, Stars of the Spectrum, which is the biggest by autism for autism concert in the nation. Featured at that festival will be Spectrum of Sound, an inclusive choir of autism self-advocates that have been gearing up for their big show right here in Framingham. The Flutie Foundation's roots remain in the Metro West area, with its headquarters located right along Route 9 here in the city. And the Frame's Mackenzie Wright paid a visit to speak with singers of Spectrum of Sound to learn more about what the stars of the Spectrum Music Festival means to them.
Being a part of Spectrum of Sound means so much to me. It makes me so happy to sing with my friends.
Nice and strong here. Mic check.
Mic check, 1, 2.
After going over some harmonies, more and more of those friends joined alongside Jamie Puro for rehearsal.
I love singing so much because it brings me joy, basically. I get to sing with so many different people that are very nice.
That's Samantha Sanford, and this is Spectrum of Sound, an inclusive choir of autism self-advocates, proudly supported by the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation for Autism.
Ever since I was 3 years old, I would sing. When I was 3, I would sing about everything that was said, everything that was done, everything. And I listen to music in the car. I like to scroll through the radio, see if I can hear some Kenny Chesney or some Def Leppard.
Music is really a way for all people, including autistic people, to share their voices and share their stories through this medium of song. So it is a very inclusive way for all people to feel celebrated and excited and share their joy.
Liz Monroe, Director of Marketing with the Flutie Foundation, tells me that their organization is dedicated to helping people and families affected by autism live life to the fullest. Supporting these Spectrum of Sound singers is just one example of that important work.
This was from the Flutie Foundation, helping autistic people live amazing.
Spectrum of Sound started in 2020 during the pandemic as a way to connect the Flutie Foundation community at a time when isolation was prevalent and routines were upended because of COVID-19.
And now Spectrum of Sound is an in-person choir. They sing at events all across the country. Their most notable to date was singing at the Lincoln Center for Autism Acceptance Month,
which was a moment that really resonated with singer Billy Paquette.
I like to perform in different places with my friends. It is fun. My favorite memories with Spectrum of Sound is going to Lincoln Center in New York City. I love to sing All-Star Song in New York, New York.
Spectrum of Sound has also performed at both Gillette Stadium and Fenway Park, among other venues and events. In fact, back in April, they performed the national anthem for the now 2024 NBA champions, the Boston Celtics, at the TD Garden. But today, Spectrum of Sound is gathered here at the Flutie Foundation's headquarters along Route 9 in Framingham to rehearse for their next big show.
August 3rd, the Flutie Foundation is so excited to host Stars of the Spectrum Music Festival. It's the largest concert in the nation by autistic artists for the autism community. So it will feature almost 100 singers and MCs affected by autism. They're super, super talented, and they're coming from across the country, and they'll be performing live on stage, and the whole event is sensory inclusive so that the whole autism community is able to enjoy. So we're offering quiet spaces, sensory items, and other accommodations for the autism community.
The Stars of the Spectrum Music Festival is a place where you can come and enjoy great music from people living with autism who are really talented.
I'm feeling really excited. Honestly, I can't wait. We're going to sing, we have a new original song that we're going to sing. It's called What We're Made For, and we're going to sing that, and it's going to be wonderful.
I feel excited and proud for the event. Let's go, Flutie Foundation.
And that's Cooper Hyde of Spectrum of Sound, a guitarist, composer, and music producer there instructing the choir. The joy and excitement surrounding the Spectrum of Sound Music Festival is what the Flutie Foundation is all about, in addition to providing financial support directly to people and families affected by autism, along with autism-serving organizations and charity partners throughout the community. In addition to musical performances, Stars of the Spectrum is also featuring an exhibit entitled Shop the Spectrum, which will showcase autistic entrepreneurs, business owners, and artists who will be selling their items and products. Doors open to the event at 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 3rd at Veterans Memorial Stadium in Quincy. The featured artist set, which of course includes Spectrum of Sound, will start at 5 p.m. You can buy tickets for the event on the Doug Flutie Jr. Foundation for Autism's website at www.flutiefoundation.org. You can learn more about the organization there, as well as the Stars of the Spectrum Music Festival. The Flutie Foundation also encourages you to follow them on social media by checking out their Instagram at FlutieFDN. Now, in other news, the well-established and locally cherished Danforth Art Museum has committed to spreading the love of art throughout the community. The Danforth Art Museum has been in Framingham since being created back in 1975. They operate as an art gallery and school where people of all ages can come learn various art mediums from their expert staff. The Danforth also holds many events throughout the year, with Hype the Arts happening this Saturday, July 20th. This is their third year holding their juried art exhibition, in which artists from all across New England submit their art to the Danforth's jury in hopes of having their work featured in their gallery. Hype the Arts will allow residents to not only look through the exhibit, but also hear from some of the artists themselves. Attendees will also get to try their own hand at making art at the event. Our own Mackenzie Wright and Chase Whistler went to the Danforth to speak with the event coordinators to learn more about Hype the Arts.
On Saturday, July 20th, starting at noon until 3 in the afternoon, we are opening up the Danforth to the community as an invitation to come and see all the different kinds of things that we regularly do at the Danforth. We'll have free admission and we'll have multiple activities that are also free. We have artist talks as well as make and take art activities, and we provide essentially the opportunity and resources to expose the university community to the collection of art that is here at the Danforth Art Museum.
We will also have a DJ here in the back lawn playing some music, just keeping the vibes very festive. And we'll also have 3 food trucks here in the parking lot for people to have some cooling refreshments as well as a delicious meal. We will also in the front lawn have an on-plein air artist painting, doing an artist demonstration. And we will also have a table for participants to make their own art pins. We've got a button maker, so they'll be able to design and create a button for themselves.
I think art is just a regular facet of our lives. We don't necessarily think of it on our day in and day out basis, but art is really there for us on multiple levels. It's not just about making it or sharing it with others, but it's an opportunity to come in and relax, which is why we have our classes up in the art school as well.
The event is free for all attendees. You can get more information on Hype the Arts, art classes, and future events on the Danforth Art Museum's website at danforth.framingham.edu. They also encourage you to follow them on Instagram at Danforth Art Framingham. Now, speaking of social media, we'd love to hear from you if you're attending any of these local events we featured on the show this week or any other happenings across Framingham this summer. Give us a follow on Instagram and X to stay updated on Framingham News in Focus. Our handle for both platforms is at FrameNews_. Subscribe to the Access Framingham YouTube channel too, and hit the bell icon there to be notified whenever new uploads from The Frame go live. We're also on Facebook. You can find us by searching for The Frame there. We're going to stop for just a second, but when we return, conversations with a few vendors that you can catch right here at the Framingham Farmers Market. Stick around. We'll be back shortly.
Getting close to the first pitch here at Fenway Park, but no sign of Wally the Green Monster.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wally.
We're back. Let's check out what else is happening in our community as the Massachusetts-based nonprofit group Project Bread has come to Framingham to offer free lunches to school-aged children as part of their Summer Eats program. Lunch locations will alternate between the city's 2 main libraries, with meals being served from noon to 1 p.m. at the Public Library on Lexington Street on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and at the McAuliffe branch on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Project Bread will be serving lunches at the sites through August 23rd. For other Project Bread Summer Eats locations, visit their website at projectbread.org/summer eats. Some traffic updates for you now locally. After pausing construction on Union Avenue in June, efforts to finish the work restarted on Wednesday. Union Ave will not be closed, but street parking is prohibited until the work has been completed. Milling will continue during the day through this Friday. Police officers will be present to direct traffic. Milling will be done from Pearl Street to Beach Street, as well as along part of River Street to the Rotary at Maple and Main Streets. Final paving will take place between 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. this upcoming Monday and Tuesday, July 22nd and 23rd. Meanwhile, Eversource has begun replacing the gas main on Salem End Road. The stretch from Badger Road to house number 269 on Salem End Road will have work done from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., while the corridor between numbers 269 and 205 on Salem End will see work carried out from 8:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. Eversource hopes to finish the project by mid-November. The city is also reminding drivers that amendments to the city's traffic, parking, and transportation regulations will go into effect on September 1st. The changes, which were approved back in April, notably include a ban on parking on city streets for vehicles with a commercial license plate during overnight hours and on Sundays. The full list of changes can be found at the Traffic Commission's webpage on framinghamma.gov. And finally this week, as we are here at the Framingham Farmers Market, we figured what better time to speak to some of the vendors of the market that make it such a special place during the summer. And I'm here with Lene now. Lene, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what you're selling here at the Farmers Market.
I'm from Chelmsford, Massachusetts. I sell crocheted stuffed animals, scrunchies, bandanas, pretty much anything that's fun and colorful. I make it, I sell it.
Anything that can be crocheted. Tell us a little bit how you got started doing this. We were talking a little bit off camera how you started this with your grandma.
Yeah, so my grandmother started teaching me how to knit, and it didn't really go too well, so I asked one of my aunts to teach me how to crochet, and she had me start with dishcloths and stuff like that, and it was fun but boring, so I slowly progressed into stuffed animals, a lot more imagination behind those. I actually met some other vendors in Bolton, and they recommended last year that I try it at Framingham. So I made it to the very last market of the season last year, and then I liked it so much that I signed up for one market a month this year. I met a bunch of vendors last year, and I've kept in touch with them over the off season and stuff, and I really enjoy meeting all the customers and seeing all the smiles and stuff. It's makes me very happy.
Well, Lauren, again, thank you for taking some time out of your day here at the Farmers Market. Tell us a little bit about your stand here at Big Little Pies.
We started 6 weeks ago, so it's all been very new. I sell miniature pies that are 3 inches, think sort of cupcakes per pie. And I work out of this shared commercial kitchen in Dorchester, Commonwealth Kitchen.
There you go. Are you a fan of the show Big Little Lies? Did that inspire the name?
Not exactly. I was brainstorming names and I was like, why does this sound so good? And I was like, oh, because I've heard these words next to each other before. So landed on Big Little Pies. I knew that it was a big market. It's amazing that the mayor sponsors it and there's no vendor fee. A few of my good friends live out here, so it's a good reason to come out. It's been great. People are eating pie. So it's been good. I've been coming most weeks and it's been really good.
That will do it for this week's Framingham News in Focus. For our entire team, thank you for joining us here at the Framingham Farmers Market. I'm Brendan Fitzpatrick. We'll talk to you next week. Take care.